We're going to take you back to that exclusive interview that we have with Lieutenant Gary Smith. We should tell you that he only gave one interview, and this morning I traveled back to Roswell to talk to him.
Taking my son to school. Actually, we were running late that day. We got out of our house a little later than we usually do.
It's part of Lieutenant Gary Smith's routine. He drops his son Jacob off at Berrendo, then heads to work. But as any police officer knows, work doesn't always begin at the office.
911, state your emergency.
I have 2 kids injured at Berrendo Middle School.
I got a call from my daughter at Berrendo Middle. Can you tell me if anyone was hurt, please?
Began to notice something wasn't right.
The principal saw Lieutenant Smith in the drop-off line and frantically waved him down.
I have a school shooting at Berrendo Middle School.
Berrendo Middle School, kid just got shot. 2 people are injured.
She began to scream that there was an active shooter. There was shots being fired in the school.
With his 6th grader still in his police cruiser, Lieutenant Smith was forced to think quickly.
Officer Smith has the suspect.
It was a very tough decision to leave that car, but it was one that was very easy to make, to go into the school and protect who I needed to protect.
He made sure the principal was safe, then snaked through the halls before getting to the gym.
I knew what I had. I knew what I didn't have, as in I didn't have my communications, I didn't have a vest on at the time, and I only had my sidearm. With that said, I still proceeded into where I knew where the gym was.
At the time, Lieutenant Smith didn't know how many shooters were in the building or if the shooter was an adult or a child.
Once I entered into the gym, I immediately noticed that a student or a young kid, a child, who I immediately recognized, due to the fact of I know their parents very well, I know the child very well, know the whole family. So I immediately recognized him, and I immediately recognized the coach or the teacher that was standing pretty close to him. The child had his hands up in the air. I saw the firearm on the ground at the feet of the child, which I recognized to be a shotgun. I screamed out, "Who's the shooter?" and the coach yelled and pointed to Mr. Mason Campbell.
When you saw that the shooter was Mason Campbell, did it break your heart a little bit?
It does now. At that point, I was still in the police officer mode. I did what I had to do to secure the scene, secure the suspect, make sure there was no other life being endangered. But after, when I actually placed him in the room, when I secured him into the conference room, it did hit me that, you know, I know this child, I know the parents, and it was almost heartbreaking.
The 20-gauge shotgun was at Mason Campbell's feet, and Lieutenant Smith knew he had to get the child away from the weapon.
I gave Mr. Campbell clear instructions to get on the ground. He refused to get on the ground. I gave him more instructions to turn away from me, which he did, and then I approached Mr. Mason and put my arm on his left arm, and I put him down to the ground, and I got him secured.
While another staff member went to Lieutenant Smith's car to get handcuffs, he noticed a student badly wounded. The student was Nathaniel Tavares, and a teacher was helping him.
I'm giving her instructions because I believe that the child was shot somewhere in the chest or face area, and that it appeared that he may be trying to suffocate or choke on his own blood. So I proceed to give instructions to the teacher to lift the head up and turn his head so the blood would run out or he would cough it out.
Within 4 minutes, paramedics and other officers stormed the school, ensuring that there were no other shooters. Probably took a moment to realize how serious this was.
There was a lot of motion, I should say.
Lieutenant Smith went back to his son waiting in the car and had to explain that the boy who played baseball with him and the boy who was a close family friend would be the same boy blamed for taking a shotgun to school and opening fire on his classmates. You had mentioned that you guys were running late that morning. Are you so glad now that you were running late?
100%. I am so glad that I was there, that I could do what I could do to stop what I did stop. Yes, it was someone looking over us that, hey, I needed to be there at that time, and I was the one chosen to take care of what I needed to go take care of.